pressure. The game is about being effective, being aggressive, winning the ball, getting on with the play. We'll put them under pressure.
That's a good way to start the show, isn't it, Philip? Don't come on at all. You leave. You're on the muty.
No.
Yeah. Can I? I want to start the show with this, Philip. Right. Has anyone seen Arsenal? Has anyone seen Man City? Has anyone seen Haaland, Pep, Lego Man? All the Arsenal fans, has anyone seen them? Because they have gone missing in Europe. Has anyone seen them? Philip, have you seen them?
I think they're hiding in a bunker, especially Bernardo Silva, with the most pathetic attempt at a penalty seen since God knows when. I mean, my God, what was he trying to do?
Are you lucky you didn't do the watch along to it, Philip? 3 hours.
Yeah. No, I came in just as the penalty shootout was starting, so I got the good bit.
You did get the good. Good evening, Mr. Brady. How are you? How was bingo last night? Any big winners? Anyone walking out literally with?
No. The only bit of joke I had was there's a big Liverpool fan goes there, and we normally meet up, and there's another Spurs fan. I meet up with her at bingo as well. So the two of us met the Liverpool fans coming in, and I put my hands up and said, "I'm very sorry for your troubles," you know, like it's miserable. He says, "Yeah, nearly as fucking bad as us." So I kept going. Oh God!
I just want to. This was Arteta, Philip, after the game. This was this was not Arteta. This was Daniel Levy after the Arsenal game. Harry Kane and Eric Dyer, I should say, after the Arsenal game last night.
Well, you have to say that Agent Harry and Dyer did their business last night. Anyway, they did the business. Eric Dyer had a fantastic match, I believe.
It did. He got big. I was reading it today. He's got massive praise in the German press.
Yeah.
Now I'm a bit confused. Do they know football at all? Have they ever heard of Eric Dyer?
No. Well. Oh shit! Sorry, don't.
We changed it to 7 to stop this happening.
I wasn't Daniel Levy, by the way.
We moved it to 7 to stop this from happening.
I only finished work 10 minutes ago. Well, I didn't finish it. It's still going.
Honest to God, Philip, you couldn't write that. You couldn't really write that, could you?
Well timed.
It wouldn't be a stream without you having to come out to take a phone call, to be honest.
Yeah, no. It's just pretty busy at work, unfortunately.
Anyway, Colin, just a big up to Colin. Well, it is Colin because he's become a watch-along member. So big up, Colin. Welcome to the family. And
Colin,
join me and Philip on the watch-along. Next season, if you get a watch-along membership, you do come on and join me and Philip for a watch-along. You do. That is the whole length of getting a watch-along membership. You get to join us.
It does carry a government health warning now coming on with us too, but anyway.
It does. You may get beheaded from The Godfather at one point as Spurs lose. You get to see the famous Philip Brady, I'm leaving. 10 minutes later, he's still there. It's something like that Monty Python, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm leaving. Yeah, okay, see ya. It's like me and the phone, apparently. I'm like that. I say to somebody, I'll see you later, and they continue the conversation.
Anyway, let's see who's in the chat.
Go on. I'll let you read them out. I pick them, you read them, Philip.
Wayne saying, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. I'm still laughing at the Gooners bottling it again. Yeah. That's, and Wembley once and Evelyn Dermot. Well, fifth, there's a pretty slim chance of earning a CL spot now. But wasn't last night worth it? I love Eric Dyer, and Eric Dyer loves me. Actually, I read something earlier, just before I come on there, that if West Ham and Liverpool win their games tonight, now not necessarily go through in the tie, but say West Ham win 1-0 and Liverpool win 2-0, that's actually a huge boost for our fifth place.
I read that as well.
The thing is worked out. We're divided by 8 and Germany's divided by 7 or vice versa. I forget what it is, but so we need West Ham and Liverpool to win tonight, but not go through on aggregate, Not that I want the West Ham and Liverpool to go through, by the way.
No, but to win tonight and go out would be lovely.
Oh yeah, that's it. Win tonight. And Aston Villa are losing 1-0 at the moment. So they're tied up.
Right.
I think we're losing 1. Let's check it here now.
Yeah. Gerard O'Connor, stop. You're upsetting my baby.
Upsetting my baby. Damn it, you've done it again.
I've done it. I'm always upsetting somebody. Even Mrs. Tron would tell you. I would start my mother, bless her, always said to me when I was small, you would start a war in heaven. That's what she used to say to me when I was a kid.
There you are.
Yeah. She said you would start an argument in an empty room.
Fight in the phone box. Yeah.
Mrs. Tron's looking at me, nodding. No, she's not.
Stephen Cartwright.
Yeah. Sorry.
Stephen's coming out with a bit of German here. Guten Abend. Guten Abend yourself, Stephen.
Yeah.
And
what did Del Boy used to say when he was going into
bonsoir? He said au revoir.
No, he was going into Holland. What was he saying to people? Ajax.
Ajax.
Do you remember at the end of that, Philip, when they done the diamonds right and they knew they were fake diamonds, right?
Yeah.
And they were chasing the fella.
The money was fake. The money was fake.
Yeah, but also, but they thought they were chasing them and they weren't. They were chasing this old fella.
That's right. That was brilliant. Brilliant.
And then he chopped
I like the bit
proper
too,
money.
remember when the one when the German girl was pregnant? And Uncle Albert said, I can speak German. What is your name?
I swear to God. Do you know what? I was thinking the other night, Philip, we are going to talk about football, by the way.
Yeah, eventually. We'll get down to it eventually.
I was watching it the other night. You couldn't run Only Fools and Horses now. Or
40 Towers.
40 Towers.
40 Towers. Porridge would be another one that would be hard to put through,
Yeah.
It's just all got so politically correct now at the moment.
Yeah. Philip doesn't do PC, by the way, everybody.
No, I don't.
Philip is not a PC sort of person.
The only PC in this house is the personal computer,
Yeah. And that's you.
Right, who else we got in there? Wayne Bonner. I heard that there's a new bottle making factory open near Arsenal Stadium. Lovely.
Oh, we're gonna have fun tonight.
And Phil is saying, evening Dermo and Philip, even you, Phil.
Big up Phil Coy's part of the Phil army. There's only one Phil in the chat, but you are the leader of that army, Phil. Let you know about that.
And Wembley won this in evening Philip as well. Thanks, Wembley.
Sorry, I'm wrong. What? I'm wrong. There's two Phils. There's Philip, Philip, and Phil. So there you go. See, you got an army now, Philip. You can start invading Arsenal now with that. You and Phil.
Gerald O'Connor saying, what do you make of Levy not getting a copper coin for Delhi? I think that was always going to be on the cards, because he's not going to play the number of games. I don't know that. I know there was an interview done with Delhi there the other day now, but all I can hope. I hope the guy gets back into playing again. He's too good a talent not to be playing.
Yeah. He was on Sky Sports. He looked in a good place, actually. To be fair,
yeah, he sounded all right. Yeah, sounded okay.
I tell you, did you see when Poch came on? How much love there was between him and Poch?
Yeah.
Could you see the scenario that Dele Alli, who's out of contract at Everton, end up at Chelsea?
Well, possibly. Chelsea can't afford to buy anybody. They'll be looking for free transfers like that.
Do you think Poch would go for him? Thinking
it would be the ultimate reincarnation. I'd love to see Dele Alli come back and be as good as he was, but please not at Chelsea. Not at Chelsea.
No.
Chelsea.
What I love what he did, he has an alarm on his phone. 11 o'clock every morning, it goes off. It's the first day of the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, that's right.
That is his. I mean, I was listening to Talk Sport, Ali McCoist. That would be the comebacks of all comebacks if he was to get there.
Yeah.
But I think everyone would love to see
Delhi on the back. Instead of having Delhi on the back of his shirt, you should just write Lazarus.
Yeah. Or Rocky. Yeah. Who else we've got? So big up Gerald. We've got Matthew in as well. Big up Matthew.
Hello, Comrade Philip and Comrade Dermo. Hi, Matthew.
Yeah. I feel Matthew's very obsessed with the USSR, Philip.
Back in the USSR. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wondered. I think, does he look at us a bit like Yeltsin and Stalin and Yeltsin or Gorbachev?
Don't start those comparisons now, Jamie, man. Come on.
I don't know. I think you look a bit like Gorbachev.
You look a bit like Stalin then.
No, I look a bit Yeltsin.
No, you're more Stalin. Yeah.
We just need to put a big love bite in the top of your head. Do you remember Dale Boy said that's a pillow? It's got a big love bite.
Oh God. Now what else we got? Matthew saying it's so good to see Arsenal bottling European matches. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it was a tight match last night, but first play to Bayern. They're saying they're the worst Bayern Munich team ever, but there's more points at the moment than they had when they won the league last season, so they can't be that bad.
Yeah.
It's just the Leverkusen are so good. And Matthew is saying Germany always be like for the fatherland. Yeah. But when the going gets tough now, Lille 2-0 up on Villa. Oh, jeez. They are. See, on 71
so
minutes gone.
3-2? Is that 3-2 Lille now?
That's the Lille are ahead in the tie now. Actually, I was in Lille last week. It's a beautiful town. Lovely town. Really nice.
I would love to do, Philip. Is there anywhere you have not been in the whole world?
Mount Everest.
Will you go there?
No. I've been no, I wouldn't go there. No way.
You wouldn't climb it?
No way. Too cold.
Would you ever climb Croagh Patrick?
No. I don't like heights. I don't like heights.
No, don't you?
No. Couldn't.
But you love flying. You love flying.
Oh, that's okay. Really, I'm fine. I love flying, but I hate heights. So, it's just one of them things. Been to Patrick, all right, but looked up at us, and that was about it.
Yeah. And waved at it.
Huh?
And waved at it. Hello.
You couldn't see the top, but it was one of the misty old Mayo days. You get down there,
This is years ago. I went to Paris, and I took one look at the Eiffel Tower, and I said, I ain't going to the top of that.
Yeah,
There's no way in hope and hell we get me to the top of that thing. And Ed M says, yeah, Lille's. Is that where Ireland fans were based in Euro 2016? Did we play a game there?
There could have been, actually, yeah. It's in the kind of eastern part of. It's on the kind of the eastern part of France, close to the Belgian border.
I was watching the other night. I was a bit bored, so I started watching YouTube Irish fans abroad in major tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since we've been to one, Philip, and I just wanted to know what it was like. We are next Irish International. You, me, Dave are going to an Ireland away game.
You have to sign the Official Secrets Act before you go now.
Yeah, well, I know that. Yes, we know that. We have to. Yeah, we do know that. Yeah.
Yes. My best story of funny stories in Moscow at an Ireland match 20 years ago, it must be.
Yeah.
And after the game, everyone decided they wanted to go to a nightclub out in somewhere. So we hailed down this taxi. Anyway, the taxi driver was pissed out of his mind. Literally, pissed out of his mind. And he drove on the wrong side of the road, wandering all over the place on the way out to the nightclub, And we got there. And then the Fields of Athenry, all you could hear was Irish, Russian, everybody singing the Fields of Athenry. It was hilarious, man. It really was. Irish fans are absolutely brilliant when they go abroad. They really don't cause any trouble, and they bring such colour to the whole thing,
Yeah. The best bit is Jack Charlton. I know you've said the same story in Russia as well, but when they went to Sardinia, was at Calgary, and they're all in the cages, and they got the English fans there and the Dutch fans there and the Irish fans. And it's a really hot day. And it's the last thing you want to do is be put into a cage, to be fair. That's the last thing you want to do. It said all you got was all the Irish got together and start going, meh, meh.
That's it. Yeah, we got that. The sheet noises, we got that as well. Even the Russian police were smiling, and those guys don't normally.
No.
They were smiling at that,
I tell you what, it was watching, and they were lullabying a little baby to sleep, these Irish fans, right? They got this fan, right? He was in the balcony, and there was thousands of Ireland fans, right, on this stretch of road. Every time this boat come out, there'd be a roar going out, a cheer go up. And when he went in, they started booing. So he was coming in and out.
He kept coming out again.
Yeah, it was so funny.
It's like another one. We were in Prague for one of the Irish games. They were doing a double header, Bratislava and Prague, and there was a McDonald's beside the ground. So we were there a couple of hours before the match, and all you could hear in the ground, a conga line of Irish fans went into the McDonald's singing Big Macs for the boys in green.
There was one there. They were singing "Stand Up for the Dutch Police" or something like that at the time. And the Dutch police are looking at them, thinking, "Can we not have these all the time?"
So they were doing a conga line around the square in Prague, and the police were out there. The police are out for every football match, thinking there's going to be trouble. They knew there wasn't going to be when they were grabbing the police and making them go around in the conga line with them.
I tell you one thing, we must have Euro 88, our first major tournament, right? How mad! The credit union must have run out of money for that tournament.
There was more kitchen extensions done that year in Ireland than any other year since.
Yeah. And also, very quickly, I think today's an important day. Philip knows what I'm on about as well. Maybe not a lot of you realise, but 43 years ago, there was a fire at a nightclub in the north side. Is it the north side?
What?
The north side?
Artane. Yeah, Artane, north side of Dublin.
No, it wasn't Artane. It was in Brummer.
Yeah.
No, it was in Artane.
It's not.
Oh, Mrs. Tron says it's not, but it was Artane. It is Artane.
It is. It's Artane. It was an old nightclub.
It was a factory. And it was turned into a nightclub. But anyway, there was a fire there on Valentine's night where, how many people?
48 people died.
Yeah. Today they got justice. today, all
Yeah,
48 of
I'm
them.
just wondering what that means, Dermot. Unlawful killing. Does that mean that the people that own the site or did own the site at the time are now liable for criminal charges? Because
Yeah, I
apparently
think so.
it came out tonight that the Butterley family that owned the place at the time tried to get the unlawful killing verdict thrown off the list of possible verdicts. And the judge says, no, it's staying there. And they couldn't release that news until tonight because obviously would have prejudiced the whole thing. But the family knew what was coming. And imagine trying to get them to amend that, to leave off that the most serious of the judgments, leave it off the table. So I hope that those people are absolutely nailed to the wall for doing that. They deserve it.
I mean, look, we were talking about Hillsborough the other day, Philip, and you got like Hillsborough and like Stardust as well, and all these disasters.
Yeah.
And please, the family have got justice for their loved ones.
Oh, it's brilliant. I thought there's one on the news tonight. Mary McDermott, I think her name was, or McDermott. She lost 3 of her kids in the fire.
Yeah.
And then her husband walked out on her, but he couldn't stand the pressure of it afterwards. So her life is totally ruined. There's justice for people like that. It's absolutely brilliant to see it.
I heard her on the radio. She was like, and also I was listening to an article the other night, a podcast the other night, Philip, and they had Mark Lawrenson on, a great Irish defender and Liverpool defender as well, back in the day. And he was saying how Heysel is very forgotten as a disaster. That Hillsborough Hillsborough gets all the mentions, Bradford gets all the mentions, but Heysel seems to be forgotten. Look, there's never been any justice for the Italian fans that lost loved ones that night.
No.
And
I don't know.
Has there, or am I wrong on that?
No, I'm not sure, Dom. I need to check that out. But one reason why they reckon it took so long for the Stardust victims to be compensated was the area of Dublin they lived in. If that had happened in the south side, in Dunleary or Foxrock or somewhere over there, it would have been dealt with years ago. And that's a horrible indictment of the way things were in the 80s in Ireland. The north side
it wouldn't have happened in the first place, because Dover rightly said to me earlier, there would have been exits out. You would have got out.
But the exit locks were
hang on, Philip. I just want to get this right. That was just, and she's right, Mother. Because it was the north side, people went through the back doors and that. Because they were poorer. If they went in the south side, people would have paid on the door, and then it wouldn't have been nobody trying to sneak in.
That could be a problem. I think the problem was there was a fire in an airing cupboard behind the bar. That's what caused the electrical fault. But the fact that the gates were padlocked, probably to stop people getting in, as you rightly say. But that's no excuse. I mean, good God. You know, it's mental now, really.
It shows how society was different to then to now, how bad things were. Because don't forget, you had mass immigration, mass unemployment. The country was in debt. The country was nearly broke.
Yeah,
you had the biggest scoundrel of them all as Taoiseach at the time, Charlie.
That's right. I can guarantee if you lived on the south side in Dublin, you rarely went to the north side.
Derby tells that to me. Derby said if she, as a teenager, if she went over to the north side, you couldn't. A south sider couldn't go over to the north side of Dublin.
You reckon you need to show your passport going across the Common Bridge? You know, that's them and us, really. It's not so bad now, but that's the way it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Anyway,
look,
we're delighted that they've got justice at long last. Anyway.
I tell you what, in the summer, Philip, we've got to do Goo-Boo. We have to do Goo-Boo as a podcast. We're gonna. I tell you one thing, guys.
What's that? Grotesque, unbelievable, bizarre, and unprecedented. Yeah.
If you want a bizarre, this could only happen in Ireland. I swear to God, it wouldn't happen in any other country. We are going to do it. It's the most bizarre. I've watched documentaries on it. Even now, sitting I was watching a video on YouTube the other night, Philip, and I saw what Charlie Harty said at the time, right? Now we all have to tighten our belts, right? And I'm looking at I said to Derby, you see what this gobshite's talking about, tighten the belts, right?
Ordering shirts for £1,000 a pop from Paris, getting them flown in specially.
Yeah, we're spending more than what we can earn. And I'm looking at them thinking, are you for real? I mean, probably you watching it at the time, Philip, you were looking at it thinking, Jesus, yeah, maybe he's right. But looking back then very quickly, and then we're going to move on, talk football and the topics today. But looking back now, what you know about him now, Philip, to then, do you sit back and just shake your head and thinking, Jesus, how naive were we?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a certain politician a former politician lives about 10 miles from here, right?
Yeah.
Who is a cattle dealer as well as a politician, right? And during the 80s, he absolutely screwed every farmer from here to North Donegal, wouldn't pay them for the cattle he took off them, and they threatened to bankrupt them.
Yeah.
And if he'd been bankrupted, it would have brought down the government. So who paid off his bill?
Charlie.
Got it and won. That's the corruption that was going on at that time.
That is shocking.
I can tell you, I make your hair stand on end now. Some of the story I can tell you about that lad,
And the other fella, he was on the Late Late Show, and they do it as 10 minutes to your doom clock.
Yeah.
And he was on about the. Now, my father was in construction. We had our own construction business in England. And when we moved to Mullingar in the early 80s, 84, we come over. My dad found it very hard to get work over here. So my dad started digging ditches for farmers and things like this. And one farmer said to him, give him a check for the work. Said, no, don't cash that check till next week, he says. And my dad says, why? He says, because it will bounce. Well,
that's it.
This builder come over, and because he wouldn't do the corruption with the government, he was hounded. He was literally hounded out of Ireland, back to Luton again, back to the great city of Luton that should be destroyed by
every building contract that was awarded here during the 80s was accompanied by a brown envelope.
Yeah. So this fella was in Europe at the time. I don't know if he was the European Commissioner or he was something to do with the Europe linked to the government anyway at the time. I forget his name. And your man's name was brought up. And he said there, he says, he's a fine man, but he hasn't been too well lately. And his wife's not too well either. And I never took no money for no. He gave him £50,000 back then, which was a lot of money, Philip, right?
Yeah.
And this fella, at this time, there was an inquest going on about the corruption within government. I think it was around the time, what's his name was, not Bertie Ahern, Albert Reynolds was Taoiseach.
Yeah.
So it was all about the corruption with Charlie Hottie and everything. Yeah. And this fella from Luton made your man lose his job in Europe and basically got Bertie Ahern nearly to resign as well. Because his son
I remember
was
that.
watching.
Tom something was his name. Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, you know what I'm on about.
Well, I know who you're on about. Yeah. Anyway. Hopefully it's all changed now.
That's how bad, and that's how unbelievable the early 80s. As a young lad in the early 80s was like, it didn't affect us because we didn't know what was going on. But for my parents, living in Ireland, we lived in Mullingar, and to live in Ireland at that time, it must have been so stressful. Tom Kilmartin.
That's it. Good man, Jared. That's the way you do it.
Big one, Jared. Big up, Jared. Living in Ireland, it must have been bad. It must have been stressful, Philip, to say the least, with everything that was happening with the economy and high interest rates, people leaving from Ireland to it. How difficult did you find it back then with a young family, Philip, and everything? It must have been stressful.
It was tough. Like interest rates were about 20% at that stage. It's like compared to now, they were really, really high. Yeah, really, really high, and it was living hand to mouth. Really, that's all you could do.
Yeah. But I remember living in Mullingar. We lived on a farm in Mullingar, and our cows kept escaping. I mean, nothing. Jeremy Clarkson, do you know his farm? I watched Clarkson Farm the other night, Philip. Absolutely brilliant.
I must watch it now.
Oh, you do. Him trying to be a farmer is the most funniest thing you'll ever. But he brings so much about farming. I have to give him credit for doing that.
He's learning.
He is learning. Texas
back at the ranch.
Berlin
Berlin is good. Berlin is brilliant city. Actually, brilliant Fantastic place. And who else have we got? And Matthew saying need to visit Dublin. Yeah. You can stay on both. Go to the south side and the north side.
Yeah.
Ed Emerson Stardust. Yeah, that's right. And Matthew, 1984 Europa League. See, they had a lunch at the ground yesterday for the 1984 team.
Yeah.
And Keith Birkinshaw was back at it. So
yeah, it was. It was nice to see him, wasn't it?
Ah, yeah. Sounds like a good day out. And did Villa play much first team players? Yeah, pretty much first teams, pretty much a full squad. There might be one or two changes, but no, Watkins is playing. They're all playing. So I don't know if McGinn is playing. I want to say he might be missing, but they're still losing, and time is running out. Only 5 minutes to go.
Jesus.
They don't know the McGinn, Tielemans, Douglas Luiz, full team. Anyway, Wexford.
Yeah. We're going to win this year. It's going to be a Mayo-Wexford double-header this year. Double championship for both.
Oh, Villa just scored.
Oh.
Villa just scored.
So that takes it into extra time.
2-1, extra time, yeah.
Yes, the Yellow Bellies this year. Mayo's going to win the football and Wexford's going to win the hurling. And do you know what? Very quickly on that, Philip, on that. GAA. People are shouting from the rooftops. Now, you're a big GAA fan. Want the All Irelands put back to their original September dates.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah. It's too cramped at the minute. It's not fair on the players. Too many matches without enough rest between them. I think it was a stupid idea to bring it back to July.
Wasn't it the first Sunday in September and the last Sunday in September? That was always the...
No, the hurling was the first and the football was the third. I think that's what I used to
say. Yeah. But it was always, in my house as a kid growing up, with my dad was more into football than hurling. But it was always, that bit, always sat down. I always remember sitting down with my dad on Channel 4 watching the All Ireland final. That, for me, growing up, was like the big thing. Mayo getting to the All Ireland final and never winning and losing.
Can I just say that the player for Aston Villa, I'm hoping it's going to be knocked out for VAR, Matty Cash.
Yeah.
The well-known crippler of Tottenham players every time we meet.
That's true. We've got Liam Lawler, Patrick Flynn, that was his name. That was your man's name.
I've got 3 houses and it cost a fortune to keep them.
Your man asked them. Yeah, I've got 3. And I'm looking at it thinking, and this is like in the 90s when people are finding it tough as well. It wasn't great. Like the economy wasn't brilliant. There was before the Celtic Tiger. And he's saying, I've got 3 houses, one in Mayo, one in Dublin, and one in... And you know, it's very hard to keep all of them. And I said, my heart fucking bleeds for you. Jesus. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, there were a few fine gentlemen of their time, Philip. But yeah, that podcast will be done. It's going to be... I can't wait for that. It's going to be a cracker. It is. Paul Brown says, Dermot, at least the music was good. Yeah, it was actually. I still think 80s music is the best decade for music ever.
And I go back to the late 60s and early 70s myself, but the times of Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, the Stones, stuff like that. That's just my own personal favourites. You know? So.
Now, my young lad loves Black Sabbath. Now, he loves all that sort of like early Black Sabbath and rock. So my young lad goes back to the 1940s music in America, the blues, proper blues, rhythm and blues.
Oh, some great blues. I love the American blues.
He's a great fan of Bo Diddley.
Oh yeah. Hey, Bo Diddley.
And Chuck Berry. He loves Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley. He loves all that sort of music.
Bo Diddley with his square guitar, you know.
Yeah, and his sheriff's hat on.
Yeah, that's it.
And he said to me, he was on, what was your man's name that did the music shows in America in the 50s and 60s?
Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan. He was the first, Bo Diddley, before 10 years before Elvis went on there, they wouldn't show him from the waist down because he was always moving.
That's right.
And then Elvis, they did that and Elvis 10 years later.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anyway,
music for me. Back to the football,
Fleetwood Mac for me. I been listening a lot of Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
For me. Gerard says go Villa, go Stands, and a lot of hard tackling going on. Or Matty Cash would love that.
Matty Cash is right in his element there.
Yeah. Now, Philip, a bad night for Man City and Lego Man last night. Where do you start apart from laughing your hat off for Arsenal? Man City, I can't take 3 hours of my life back from that watch along, Philip. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I didn't say I only came. As I said, I came in on just the penalty shootout was starting. Like it seemed City should have won that game easily in normal time. The Real Madrid had no intention of attacking. They had one shot, I think, and that was the one they scored with, and that was it. Yeah.
So, look, where do you put down Real Madrid? Weren't great last night, Philip. Why? Because you expect Real Madrid
used their experience. Real Madrid have won that trophy. Was it 14 times? They're the most experienced team you can get. I'd hate to play against them at any stage because they never say die. They mightn't be playing football, but they'll confuse and really squeeze the life out of you the way they play defensively. I mean, the bit I saw the game in highlights was 11 men behind the ball the whole time. You know, God Almighty wouldn't have broken them down.
Do you know? I was watching it last night, and City should have won that. Should have won that in 90 minutes, but
De Bruyne missed a great chance after he scored. He ballooned it over. In the highlights that I saw.
Yeah,
and what is wrong with Haaland? Haaland is Haaland a flat track bully?
Yeah,
he can't hack it against good teams.
No, and he asked to come off last night. He actually says to Pep at the start of the extra time, "I want to come off."
My God!
Now, if that was even a worse strike, have you ever known a Spurs player to say, "I want to come off"?
No. Yeah, I'm just wondering if he'd been on the pitch when the penalties came, would he put his name up, his hand up to take a penalty? Because that's where your leaders come out when you come to penalty shoot. Look at Luka Modric, first man up to take the penalty. You know, I know he missed it, but I don't think Haaland would. I don't know. I've always had my doubts about him. He's good at putting the ball in the net, but nothing else.
I watched it. He worked hard in the first half, Philip. I must admit, he did work hard. But it was Ed's right. It was such a tactical battle last night. It was like, and once Madrid went ahead, it was like, right, we're going to sit back and defend and defend. Madrid got their first corner in the 106th minute.
Yeah.
It was unreal. Arsenal, do you know, is it a missed opportunity for Arsenal or good performance from Bayern Munich for what? I only saw the highlights too, Philip, but for what
I saw the highlight. I saw the first 15 minutes of this game and I thought Arsenal were pretty good. I have to say, they looked like they were controlling it. But Bayern were quite happy to sit back and let them come at them, you know. But the second half wore on. I believe Bayern put their stamp on the match. Eric Dyer had a brilliant game, which is, you know, it's quite hard for Spurs fans to understand or believe even. But like, you know, what they've done there is that they've knocked. That's two bad games in a row for Arsenal now. Well, 3 if you count the draw at Highbury with Bayern last week. So hopefully that's knocked a dent in there. And you realize Arsenal played twice before we play them.
Yeah,
they have a game this week, and they've won the one during the weekend, during the midweek as well. So let's hope that they're tired out and exhausted by the time they come to us, because we did it 2 years ago. We finished them off. Let's do it again this time.
I think we will. We do have a lot of build up that week, Philip. We got the debate show between us and the Armory coming that week, which should be fun. You and me versus Bobby and Brenny from the Armory, so that should be a lot of fun. Ed M says, I enjoyed the first half. City Real was a real tactical battle last night. He says, watching both City and the Goons, have we much to worry about, Dermo? I don't think so, Philip. Do you?
I think the two of them could be absolutely exhausted and out on their feet by the time they play us.
Yeah.
We're going to be fresh, you know, hopefully anyway.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to win the semi-finals, Philip? Who's your?
Well, you have to go for Man United against Coventry. But do you know something? I have a sneaking feeling after last night that
the Champions League final.
Oh, sorry, Champions League final. I think will be Real Madrid and PSG.
I'm going for an all-German final.
Okay.
I think Bayern Munich have the beating of I've jumped ahead of topic. No, mate, we'll come back to that. I think it's going to be an all-German fight. I said it last night. It's written in the stars. Harry Kane's going to win his first major trophy at Wembley.
Oh, maybe. I mean, you can't rule them out.
No.
I mean, I use the same criteria for a team for Bayern Munich playing Real Madrid as Man City. You know, they're going to have their work cut out. You know.
I think Real Madrid are beatable.
I mean, I, in all fairness, I would like to see Harry Kane get his trophy. You know, and Eric Dyer. Who would have thought Eric Dyer would have a Champions League weathers medal at the start of this season? You know. But,
yeah, I mean, if there was a decent striker last night for Man City, Harry Kane, would Man City won that game last night?
Oh, they would have done. Yeah, they would have done. I mean, they missed a few chances. Yeah, they probably would have done. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Now, Fabrizio has been out on Twitter again today, Philip, or X, saying that Spurs are going to have a busy summer. Five likely Spurs stars to leave in the summer. They are Lo Celso, Dombele, who else? Joe Rodon, Reguilon. I forget who the fifth one is. Jed Spence. Now, a number 9 is a must, isn't it, Philip? We have to get a striker in this summer. There's no mucking around. Do you want a striker or do you want a winger type striker? What do you want?
No, we've enough winger strikers. We want a striker. An absolutely dedicated striker. We've enough winger strikers. We've got Sonny, we've got Kulu, we've got Johnson. We need someone down the middle.
Yeah. Who do you want to see? And also, do you want to see a proper number 6, Philip? Or do you think, I've been saying this for a while, Hojbjerg could be your man for that?
Yeah, I don't know. Will he stay? His agent's probably pushing for a move, you know. Do you know who I'd go for? And it's probably highly unlikely we get him. Ollie Watkins.
As a striker?
Good striker.
I tell you, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't be mad at that, Philip, either.
No. And I get a really top class defensive midfielder in. I'm struggling to find out who we could get that would fit that bill, but we need one because Newcastle came through us like a knife through butter the other day. You know, we can't have that.
No, I think Hojbjerg. I would love to go for Kimmich. I would love to go and get Kimmich.
Yeah, Kimmich wants to leave Bayern Munich. A great goal he scored last night. He wants to leave. Let's take Harry Kane put in the word for us. You know, Kimmich would be a brilliant one. Absolutely brilliant.
I would love Kimmich, and I know he wants to leave. I'd love Kimmich at Tottenham. Look, for me, Philip, a striker is a must, and also a number 6 is a must. Bazouma's not going to cut it for me anymore. No. I'm sorry. Bazouma for me is done. Philip, just very quickly on the League of Ireland, a number of teams have spoken to the ECA, the European Clubs Association, to leave them, to leave the FAI and to join the European Club Association. It's an article today in the Irish Independent, and it's about clubs wanting more control over the money they get for the TV rights and the commercial deals that they can bring. Now, I was speaking to Dave earlier about this, Philip. Is it more leverage for the clubs to use against the FAI? Or do you think from them getting their own deals would be better for Irish soccer? Because we all know how corrupt the FAI is.
I'm not up to speed with that ECA thing, Dermot, so it's very hard for me to comment on it. What would that mean? Would that mean they would leave the League of Ireland?
No, they would have their own right to do their own contracts for TV deals and
I can't see that ever happening. I can't see that ever happening. Because let's face it, there's not enough of the teams are big enough draws, big enough attractions for that. So I don't know. I'll be very wary if that ever came to pass. Might be good for the clubs if it did, but you can be sure the League of Ireland would fight it every inch of the way and find some legal loophole to knock it on the head.
But could it be used as leverage though to get a better deal out of the FAI though?
You can try, but you can't get blood out of a stone. They don't have any money. Simple as that. They don't have no money to pay them. You know,
and we still can't find a manager. But let's not talk about that. That's like the rabbit in the room. We all know who's going to get the job, Mr. Blobby. Anyway, Philip. I know Legman says this is his sister. FA changes to the FA Cup format, Philip.
Yeah, no replays.
No replays. Now, this is the this is the. I did console him. He was very unconsolable last night, Gerard. And then full time goes in extra time. Philip, the 4th and 5th rounds plus the quarterfinals will now be played on the weekends, exclusive for Premier League fixtures. 4th round will now run from Friday to Wednesday, allowing 6 days of FA Cup football. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Removal of replays from the first round proper onwards in light of the expansion of European competitions. And then this one, Tottenham, this was a stat I found earlier, Philip. I couldn't believe it. Out of 101 of our ties taken to replays, 3 of them were FA Cup finals, 1901, 1981 and 1982. So, look, I think they need to leave the FA Cup well alone, Philip. They're tinkering around with it. They really are. And also this one as well. The FA Cup final will now be played on the penultimate weekend of the Premier League season and on a Saturday, exclusive of Premier League games. There would be no Premier League fixtures played on the Friday prior to the final to allow full focus on the Wembley showpiece. Philip, are they tinkering with the competition too much that is now not the same as it was when you and me were growing up?
Okay, maybe the replay thing is okay. But everything else about the FA Cup, there's no need to change it. But they've done it, So I don't agree with it. Imagine taking a league weekend or making no matches in the league just to play the FA Cup final. The FA Cup final was always played the Saturday after the league finished. Always, and they should leave it that way. They should leave it.
It was always, and it was the biggest showpiece of the season, wasn't it, Philip? The FA Cup, and
It was. I haven't watched an FA Cup final in years.
Well, we are this year because we're doing a watch along to it. But
yeah, but I'm just saying, I'm not really interested. If Spurs aren't in it, I don't really care. But it seems to have lost. It lost its impetus the year Manchester United pulled out back in the early 2000s. It's never ever got it back. I don't think since that.
No, I think the FA and the Premier. I think the Premier League, as great as the Premier League is, Philip, has now been the root of all evil in football. Now, the Premier League has killed what the game was. It's all about money. It's all about corruption. It's all about bigger money for bigger clubs and lesser clubs getting nothing. The pyramid is rigged in a way that the bigger clubs get richer and the poorer clubs get poorer. And that's down to the Premier League, Philip. And I'm sorry. I do think they should have left it as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get it. And it was what was it down to at the time? Why was the Premier League formed, Philip? Because of money, TV rights.
Yeah, the TV companies run this down, not the FA. I mean, look at the Arsenal now. We now know the Tottenham game can be fixed now that Arsenal have gone out of the Champions League. But that's only up to last night. What if somebody wants? That's next weekend. What if someone hasn't got the flights booked? It's just the fans don't matter. It's just TV rights cause are God to the FA. They just bow down to them every single time. Without Newcastle 12:30 last Saturday for Spurs team, ridiculous. 400 miles up north at 6 o'clock in the morning. See Spurs get beat 4-0. That's punishment.
Look, do you agree with Ed here? And Ryan, we are going to get your comment in a minute. He says, I can see when the FA Cup final is played abroad in USA, Qatar, Saudi, unfortunately. Philip, we had this debate weeks ago about. Do you remember?
It's going to happen.
Do you remember it came out that the Americans are trying to move some Premier League games, a 39th game, to the United States of America?
Yeah, that's right. Well, that 39th game could be the FA Cup final.
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
There's no line to be drawn down because you and me and the fans have absolutely no say in it whatsoever. Some sultan in Qatar or a sheikh in Saudi Arabia will offer the FA a ridiculous amount of money to bring the FA Cup final out to Qatar or Saudi Arabia or US even, and they'll just go. Thanks very much. Pocket the money and away they go. Of course they will. It'll happen, and it'll happen inside the next 2 or 3 seasons. I think.
Well, where do we stand? What I mean by where do we draw the line, Philip? Where do we, as football fans, say, right, enough's enough?
What can you do, Dermot? No matter what we say, they're going to change their mind. They're going to just go ahead and do it.
Say it's a North London derby.
Yeah.
And just say you bought tickets for the North London Derby, right?
Yeah.
You get your season ticket, and you know North London Derby is going to be in such and such a date, right?
Yeah.
And then it's announced, sorry, the game's being moved to New Jersey.
Oh, well, it'll be announced a season or two in advance. They won't do that.
But the point is, Philip, you got fans that are proper fans won't be able to afford to get over there.
No, I know that. I know that. Yeah, absolutely.
So you got no offense.
I rest my case. Where do the fans come into this? They don't. Yeah. They don't care.
No disrespect to any Americans watching who do watch this channel. Well, what I'm going to say is, but how does an American get what a North London Derby means? Like to you and me, we get it. An American sitting there, or a Saudi Arabian person, or a Qatari fan, he's not going to have the same infamous or the same, he's not going to know what a North London Derby means. To him, it's just another football match.
To be honest with you, I don't think it'll ever come that match will be played outside the country. I think the FA Cup is a much easier target because it's a one-off final. It's a one-off big occasion. That's the one I think they'll go for. Now, even the Carabao Cup could be at risk for something like that, But
the FA Cup plays at Wembley at the end of the season. That is what the FA Cup is. It's the road to Wembley. It's not the road to Qatar.
Up to now, but money talks.
The day they move the FA Cup is the day the FA Cup dies for me.
Yeah, possibly.
It's not.
Possibly.
You know yourself, Philip. It was always the road to Wembley, the road to the Twin Towers.
Well,
and now
reverse it in the way we've done. What do you think? Now, just say Jacksonville, whatever you call them, are playing the Chicago Bears in the NFL, and it's moved to Tottenham. There's probably boys in Chicago and Florida sitting there saying, I'd love to go to that match, but I can't go. So the same thing is happening probably in America with the NFL games.
Yeah, but they've been playing American football back in the 90s at Wembley.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying but they're increasing the volume of the games now.
I know what you're getting at.
It's the same thing. People might want to go to games over that can't go. But again, we're just going to have to suck it up because it's not going to change. We're not going to change the opinion. And money talks, and I'm afraid that always will. And the FA love money.
I tell you, football from you and me can remember it back in the day, Philip. It's totally changed. If we went back and told our younger selves what football's going to be like now, I think we'd have told our older selves, you're taking the piss here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, Wayne says,
Absolutely.
I'm guessing they're getting rid of replays to benefit all the teams in Europe. The final itself should be the closing game of the season.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, should be. Yeah.
Look, I don't know, Philip. It's really gaunt me that. It's really gaunt me that. Look, any other thing, Philip? Look, please, above my head, we do have a QR code. It is our official partner, Wrath Esports Energy. So please do hit the QR code, and you will get 10% off if you do use the code THFCTID, if you can. As you can see, we're only 3 away from 1,800. I don't mind if it's your goldfish or your garden gnome. Don't even care if it's your next door neighbor's dog. Just set up a YouTube channel and hit the subscription button. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And while you're there, pick them up a membership. 99. We start at 99 cents, don't we, Philip?
Yeah. Cheap as chips. Cheaper than chips.
Cheap. You get the cheap membership, and also you get the good-looking Philip Brady and me. There you go. What more do you want? What more do you want on the 7 o'clock in the evening? Any news you want to talk about, Philip, for the next 5 minutes sort of thing?
No, honestly, pity with no game this weekend. I'd love to get playing. I'd love to play Manchester City this Saturday. They'll be knackered after that Real Madrid game.
Yeah. Really we are doing the FA Cup semi-final, aren't we, this weekend, you and me? We are going to do a watch-along to it.
Yeah. One on Saturday, anyway. I'm in Tottenham on Monday at my tour. So
yeah, tell people about that, Philip, because you're quite excited about that.
Yeah, I got a present for Christmas from my kids. It's a escorted tour of the stadium on next Monday morning at 10 o'clock, but it's been given by the legendary Ozzy Ardiles. So I met Ozzy once before here in Dublin at a function about 5 or 6 years ago. I got a photograph taken with him, so I'm going to flash the photo and try and get a few promo things done here with him. I'm going to be filming the thing anyway, so it'll be up here on the channel to have a look at in due course.
Philip has been given strict instructions what Ozzy to say.
Yeah. Spurs are on their way to Wembley, huh?
Yeah, on THFC till I die.
Yeah, exactly. And also, a big up again. I know we've done it before, but the fantastic achievement of the girls' team to get to the FA Cup final, the women's FA Cup final, and to play
Are we doing a
Manchester
watch along
United.
to that, Philip?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it'd be a great
Would
day
you go
out.
to it? Would you actually go to it?
No, I won't be. No, I'm over the Burnley match, so I won't be able to get over to that one as well.
I would love to go to it. If I could get a ticket for it. 11,000 tickets have been awarded to Tottenham for that final.
Is that all?
That is it.
11,000.
Yeah, 11,000 tickets each.
That's
team.
crazy. How many Manchester United get?
11,000 each.
Well, that's okay. Because all their fans live in London anyway, so there's no bother with that. You know?
11,250 tickets.
No, that's crazy. And the rest of the fans would turn up. Right, who's playing? You know, mad.
Yeah, it should be 30,000 each. I'm sure there's a lot of teams, Tottenham fans, who want to go and support the girls that day.
Of course there is, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, Daniel Levy's going to get his third major trophy in 26 years. I mean, it's worth celebrating, Philip. Third major trophy in 26 years. Just last thing, Philip. I know we've got the end of the season coming up. What's been your highlight so far of the season, Philip? What's the one highlight of the season that do you think, do you know what? For me, because we are coming into the end of April, beginning of May, we are coming to the end of the season now. So
I need time to think about that one, though. I really, at the moment, I just can't think of. Okay, I suppose beating Liverpool at home, that was a big one.
Yeah.
Sheffield
United for me.
Sheffield United comeback against that was incredible, I have to say.
Watching you do a knee slide off camera, doing that for me, I'll never forget that watch along. Honest to God, it was so. You were ahead of me in that watch along as well. And all I see is you running and doing the knee slide. And they go, what the fuck is it? Oh, right, we scored. Yay.
Yeah, that was good. The low points, couple of low points. I think Brighton away, Fulham away, and Newcastle away. They've got to be the low points.
But we've got Arsenal to come, Philip. We've got Man City to come. We've got Liverpool to come. Yeah. We've got a few run-ins. Ed M says the price of NNL tickets in America, it might be cheaper to go to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
It's true. It is true. Philip, that's it. That is the end of the Daily Hotspurs news show. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Hope everyone's enjoying the new time too. We've got a few good people, a few chats in, Philip. So I think the time's suiting everyone. We've got a lot of things coming up in the summer, haven't we? We've got all the Euro games we're covering, watch-alongs. I'm going to do the afternoon games. And the boys over at Full-Time Network are going to do the evening games. So me and Philip, you're going to get all the games covered here. We've got shows coming up. I think we're going to do an end-of-season show, Philip, on the 21st of May. Hopefully you're not in Dublin that day.
What day of the week's that?
That's a Tuesday. That's really worrying me now. I might have to change that to a Monday.
Yeah, that's my Tuesday out.
Yeah.
The last game is on the 8th, 19th, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So the review of the season, I might put it onto a Monday, actually. I might do that Monday. And we've got we were supposed to do a pre-record for the Unholy Trinity podcast. I want to see, can we do that Saturday at some point? Because I'm busy tomorrow now. So we're going to have to do that at some point between now and Sunday. Get that out on Sunday. But yeah, do you know what, Philip? Channel's changing. Yeah. We're getting there. Philip will have a new background by next season. He will have Ozzy Ardiles behind him, giving him a hug, saying, you're now part of the Ozzy Ardiles fan club. Big up to Carl Simpson. Says, big up, gents, and everyone at the chat. Come on, everyone. Hit the subscription. 3 away for 1,800. Be nice to get there, wouldn't it, Philip?
Only 3 to go. Come on, hit the button.
We want to get to 5. Very quickly, Philip, if you had a milestone for the channel, where to get to? Would it be 5 or 10K you would love to get to?
Well, get past 2 first, then I'd set 5.
Yeah, 5. There you go. We will get there. Well, listen, thank you for watching. Okay. We are back tomorrow, so please hit the like button, subscription button, notification bell, and everything. Philip's off to polish off his Goo-Boo book. To get ready on the time.
Yeah, to return that phone call he got earlier. That's what he has to do now. So,
yeah, and I'm going to I'm going to go and cook my dinner. That's what I'm going to do. Good night, everyone.
Okay.
God bless them. Come on, you Spurs.
See you tomorrow.
Big Ange, we trust. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.